Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was clicked by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Advanced Narwhal 200, posted to r/AmITheAsshole on June 8th, 2025. Stepdaughter almost drowned in my pool and her mom and others are blaming me. Am I the asshole? Saturday night, I came back home at around 6 p.m. and my husband called me saying that he was supposed to pick up his daughter, 5, from her mom's and that he's stuck at work so her mom would drop her off at our place. I said okay, I was watching TV and expecting them to arrive soon. Around 8 p.m. my dog started barking and jumping at the window, and when I went to see what was going on, I noticed the pool water was wavy. I went outside and saw the little girl in the water, and she was unconscious. I pulled her out, and she wasn't breathing. I called the ambulance while trying to revive her. The ambulance arrived within 10 minutes, and I genuinely thought she drowned, but thankfully, they managed to save her. She is completely okay now. The thing is, I had no idea that her mom had already dropped her off. She didn't knock or anything, so she probably just left her in front of the house. Her mom also came when she found out, and she was trying to blame me, telling me I tried to murder her daughter. I already told my husband that they didn't knock or enter the house, and I had no idea the girl was even there. Everything became even more messy. Basically, the woman kept yelling at me, telling me how she's going to fight me, and things like how she's going to hold me underwater so I can see how it feels. First of all, if it wasn't for my dog barking at the window, I would have no idea the girl was in the pool and she would have drowned. Because I had no fucking idea that moron dropped her off in front of the house without even knocking or anything. I said this and she spit at me. The police ended up holding her back, and then my husband came back too, and it was just shitty. After this, I got calls from her parents and they also tried to threaten me on the phone, but I just shut them down. A couple other people who I guess she said her version of this called me. And yeah, same thing. I know, or at least feel like it's not my fault, but at this point I want to clarify more. I forgot to say that I do have a fence around the house, in the backyard, and it's usually locked, but that day it wasn't, which I know is my fault. Also, as I said, this is my house. This was the first time the girl was here, so I have no idea why would her mom just drop her off in front of a house she's never been to, and no idea why did the girl go for the pool when she couldn't have seen it from the street. I don't know. Why did she go to the backyard? I'm not blaming her, I'm just explaining. Also, my country doesn't have a law for fence directly around the pool. There's usually a cover, but I wanted the water to get warmer. I don't live here, but I'm currently renovating. Am I the Asshole has no consensus bot, but OP received mixed reactions. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Thank God your stepdaughter is okay. OP responds, I agree. Commenter 2. Not the asshole. You don't say whether your husband is backing you up. OP responds, he is. To the question, isn't it mandatory to have a pool fence in OP's area? OP responds, technically in my country there's no law that says I have to have a fence around the pool. Commenter 3. A 5-year-old lives at your house but can access the pool if they're dropped off in front of the house? OP responds, she doesn't live here. Commenter 4. So, if y'all don't live there, how would the mother, whom you called a moron, know there's a pool in the back? OP responds, she doesn't have to know there's a pool. The same way that girl went into the backyard, she could have wandered away from the house and ended up somewhere else. The mom knew about the pool though. Downvoted commenter, why is your stepchild being dropped off at your house without her mother, aka the woman, talking to you to let you know they were coming or that they were there? Weird. Not your fault, but I still think the lack of communication is weird. You keep referring to her as the girl, like you're detached from the idea that she's actually your stepdaughter and part of your family. You're also so blasé about the fence thing despite knowing she's 5, and drowning is one of the most common deaths for children. I'm getting weird, possibly fake vibes from this post. Everyone sucks here, except for the girl. Okay, I now see what some commenters mean by Redditors' fucking disdain for step-parents. OP responds, I don't know. Why didn't her mother wait for her to enter? I started referring to her as the girl because it's shorter to write. She doesn't live here, and this pool has been here for more than 20 years. It's perfectly legal. I never thought anything of it. OP's location, Germany. I want to put my 2 cents in. Like, I don't understand how OP could possibly be the asshole here, because, like, in what fucking world as a parent do you just, like, drop your child off and drive away without making sure they got into the house? Like, what if you dropped them off at the wrong address? This was the first time the girl was visiting, so what if the stepmom screwed up while putting the address in and dropped them in front of the wrong house? Or literally any kind of scenario that was previously mentioned, or what if the kid went to the wrong house, or wandered away, or didn't go to the front door? The mom literally just dropped their kid off and drove away without making sure they made it inside safely, and this is a 5-year-old. Seriously, how is OP even remotely at fault for this? Like, even with me, as an adult, dropping off adult friends, I don't leave the front of their house until I make sure that they get into their house safely, because it would really fucking suck if I drop them off, turns out they're locked out of their house, and now they're just stuck on their porch. And that's with adults. This is a 5-year-old child. And considering that dog was barking out the window at the pool when the child stepped in and started drowning, I would guarantee that if there was a knock on the door or something, there's a good chance the dog would alert OP to the fact that someone's at the door, whether by barking or by getting a little antsy. Who knows, maybe they're trained. But still, this genuinely sounds like she just fucking abandoned her 5-year-old child in front of a home that she did not 100% guarantee that it's either her ex-husband's new wife's home or that her daughter made it in safely in the first place. How is OP remotely at fault? We got fucking commenters like that are like, yeah, your husband's ex-wife may have abandoned a 5-year-old daughter in front of your home, but you're referring to her as the girl, so everyone sucks here. Jesus Christ. Anyways, sorry for the mid-tangent rant. Update, June 9th, 2025, the next day. Since my post had a lot of views and comments, I feel like I should post a final update. I won't fully go into the details, but my husband talked to his daughter. I still haven't spoken to her or seen her since, and he asked her what happened. So, they arrived to the back of the house and not actually to the front because they thought that was the front, which is fine. Still, the mom did just drop her off and drove away, thinking she's going to knock on the door and come inside. Thankfully, the neighbor's camera actually caught one side of the car, and it very obviously shows that the car stopped for not more than 30 seconds, and since it caught the driver's side, it's visible that the driver, the mom, didn't exit the car and drove away. Are you fucking kidding me? She pulled up to the back of the house, saw there was a pool, dropped her 5-year-old daughter off, and just fucking drove away? Are you joking? So, the girl said that she was going to knock on the door, but she saw a frog in the grass by the pool and wanted to pick it up and bring it inside. Gate for the backyard was open, and she went inside. Frog was running away from her and fell in the pool. She tried to reach for the frog and fell inside. Even though what happened was horrible, thankfully she's okay now and didn't cause any serious damage. I already said in my previous post that the gate was unlocked, but even worse, she walked in through the other side, which was completely open. Thankfully, the pool wasn't covered because if she stepped on the cover, it would have literally trapped her inside. I feel really bad for what happened, knowing that part of leaving the gate open was my fault, but at least the worst outcome didn't happen. I won't share any more about anything related to the situation with mom and police. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, again, not the asshole. That child should have never been dropped off without her mom making sure that she got safely inside your house. Please get locks and additional safety measures for your pool, and give yourself some grace. OP responds, I will always keep the fence locked from now on. The mom doesn't really interact with me. Shrug emoji. If I text her something about her daughter, she just leaves me on scene and answers through my husband. I guess she didn't want to see me or whatever, but I don't understand how she can willingly leave her kid with someone she doesn't even want to interact with. Commenter 2. Wow. So she knows she was the one who almost killed her kid, and she still had the nerve to blame you and spit on you. She abandoned a 5-year-old in front of a house neither had ever been to, and just drove off? Commenter 3, worse actually, at the back of the house, rather than the front. OP responds, the back looks similar to the front, so I get that she didn't see, but still, the gate was open. She saw that. Even if you want to try to say, well, OP definitely should have had the gate open to the pool knowing there's a 5-year-old coming. Sure. I personally cannot agree to any fault on OP on this one, because the thing is, they had no way of knowing the 5-year-old was even on their property. They had no way of knowing what was even going on. They had no way of knowing the gate was even open because they didn't come to the door to let her know the 5-year-old was here. I know I keep calling them the 5-year-old, but it's to stress the fact that they're 5 years old and were just dropped off at a home they didn't know with a pool that was uncovered and just left there to make it to the house on their own. And 5-year-old antics be damned, look at that frog, I want to show it to my stepmom. And they're waking up the paramedics. One of my buddies was a lifeguard at Roaring Springs in Idaho, which, for those of you who don't know, it's essentially just a giant water park with several slides. Several childhood memories attached to it. One of the scariest things that he told me is that a child drowning is silent. There's no screams, cries for help, it just happens. They don't have the energy to call for help. They don't know how to understand a call for help when their body begins to give out. They just sink. No words, no screams, just silently sinking. The mother is lucky that her husband's new wife has a dog that alerted them to what's going on, because that could have been it. And thankfully, that wasn't the case. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is Throwaway Am I the Asshole SPD. Posted to r/Am I the Asshole July 7, 2020. Am I the asshole for telling my dad I plan on never speaking to my brother once I turn 18? Editor's note. Sensory processing disorder, SPD, is a condition where a person's brain has trouble receiving and responding to sensory information from the environment and their own body. Imagine your senses like a radio, and SPD is like the radio having trouble tuning into the right station or getting static. This can lead to a person being overly sensitive or not sensitive enough to things like touch, sound, sight, smell, or movement. I, 16 male, will keep this as short as possible. My mom and dad divorced when I was 4. I lived with my mom until I was 14, and my brother lived with my dad. He was 20 when I moved up to live with him and my dad. I have another older brother who still lives with my mother, but he isn't relevant in this other than the fact that I am much closer with him. I had to move in because my mother couldn't take care of me. My dad happily let me come live with him. I think the only relevant backstory is that I have SPD, sensory processing disorder. This affects how sensitive my hearing is, high-pitched and loud sounds are almost painful to me, my sight, very, very quick-moving objects and flashing lights can overwhelm me, and my touch, I can't stand certain textures or random unwanted skin-on-skin contact. Everyone in my family knows this and is very accommodating, which I'm always incredibly grateful for. Everyone except for my brother. He plays extremely high-pitched audio in my ears randomly. He'll flash lights in my eyes. He's even told his friends I love hugs so much and am really happy when people randomly hug me. I am not. It's been like this for 2 years I've been living with him and my dad, and it's only gotten worse. Most recently, he called me to his room, saying he was hurt and needed help. And when I ran into the room, he played his speakers as loud as they could go, and turned on strobe lights that he has for whenever he goes to a party. I completely lost it. I felt like I was underwater. I remember scratching at my ears and around my eyes, but other than that, I don't remember much. My dad came and helped me, and told my brother not to do it again. My dad always speaks to him about it every time after, and he always says he won't do it again. But he always does. Yesterday was a breaking point for me. I'd been downstairs baking with Dad when he came in and said he was having some friends over, in the back garden with social distancing. My dad said that was fine, and my brother asked if he could take out his speaker and put the lights on. My dad asked me if I was okay with that, and I said yes, as long as I got plenty of notice. My brother screamed at me, saying, "Oh my God, for once in your life, can you be fucking normal? I shouldn't have to warn you of anything. You're so fucking annoying." My dad asked him to stop, and he did. He left, and my dad asked if I was okay, and I told him, why does it matter if I'm okay or not? I've dealt with this for 2 years, only 2 more, and I never have to speak to him again. My dad got upset. He's very close to his 3 brothers, my uncles, and thinks I should just forgive him to patch things up. He said he was disappointed in me for thinking about cutting my brother out of my life. I was always considering going no contact with him because of everything he's done. But after what my dad said, I can't help but to think if I'm overreacting to this. Would I be the asshole for cutting him out the day I turn 18? Verdict, not the asshole. Top comments. Crazy craft mom. Not the asshole. Honestly, it sounds like he's jealous. He was an only child for many years. Then you move in. With you having SPD, he probably sees it as your dad coddling/favoring you. The dynamic of the family/living situation is different than what he's used to. He's an adult. What he's doing is harassment and could get in serious trouble. Your brother needs a wake-up call and soon. Plain I see you comments. Not the asshole. What he's doing is abusive and your dad has allowed it for years on end. He's just as much of an asshole. Moonklutz comments. Not the asshole. I also have sensory processing disorder, and my sister has always been a real jerk about, well, everything, including doing things like saying, "I know you hate hugs," before hugging me. A lot of her BS stopped when I drew firm boundaries. Why wait? Stop talking to your brother now. Don't go to his room. Pretend he's a poltergeist. Just stay the heck away from him, and tell your dad he can either enforce real punishment for your brother, or he can also lose you at 18. He's not parenting, he's just sticking his head in the sand. OP updated September 2nd, 2022. 2 months later, same post. Editor's note, made paragraphs for easier reading. Update. So much has happened since I posted this, so I want to come and let you know I'm currently typing this safely from my mother's, whilst my other older brother's chucking popcorn at me to catch in my mouth. Thank you so much to everyone who commented and messaged me. What James, fake name, did to me never registered as abuse until it was pointed out to me. I wouldn't have had the courage to do what I did without all of your support. So thank you for saving my life. After reading the comments, I decided to give my dad one last chance to put an end to James's behavior. I sat him down and told him that what he was doing to me was physically painful. How would he like it if someone smacked him and pinched him constantly? He told me he was sorry I felt that way, but I also have to understand how difficult it is for my brother to adjust to having another person in the house. I saw red. I lost it. I screamed at him that a 22-year-old should be able to get used to not being daddy's center of attention, that it was no excuse to exploit my disability to torture me constantly. He didn't say anything, so I walked out. Just left and walked to my favorite skate park nearby. I called my other brother, Daniel, for the reason of not constantly saying other brother, and told him I needed him to come and get me right away. My mom was at work, so I didn't call her. He was there in 20 minutes, and I told him everything James has done and what Dad said to me. I've never seen him as angry as he was. He told me to get in his car. So I did, and he drove us to my dad's. He told me to go pack all my bags and that he was taking me home. Dad tried to talk to me, but I ignored him, just started packing. I couldn't make out everything that was said, but Daniel laid into him, screaming his head off. I didn't have much, so I was packed quick. He told me to go wait in the car. He was in the house an extra 10 minutes. That he went to James and told him to never think of contacting either of us again. Apparently, James tried to convince him that it should have just been him and Daniel, that I shouldn't have been born at all, that everything was better before I was. Daniel punched him. Hard. He had 2 fractured fingers that he got treated after we left. And that's it. I haven't heard from them since. Daniel told me to write a list of everything that sets off my SPD, and that he'd make sure the house is as SPD safe as possible. My mom cried when I told her what happened, and promised I always had a place with her and Daniel. Which brings us to now. Watching the perks of being a wallflower, typing this with Daniel still chucking popcorn at me. Once again, thank you everyone so much for the support and help. I wouldn't be where I am now if not for it. Be safe, everyone. In this story, we have 2 quite literal opposite sides of the coin. We have a 22-year-old who believes that he should be the center of attention from the father and can't stand to share the spotlight, and doesn't care to even attempt to understand what it's like living with a disability, to the point where he finds it comical or humorous to purposely torture his brother. Then on the other hand, we have Daniel, who's willing to swing hard enough for his younger brother that he'll fracture his fingers. Be like Daniel. Also, gotta love the irony that the father was like, well, I'm really close with my 3 brothers, and I really think that you should be as well. So you should just put up with the abuse and allow your brother just to live his life and, forgive him for it. Other than actually being a fucking father and standing up for his child, and instead allowing a 22-year-old man-child to just essentially abuse his younger son. Yeah, that's definitely gonna lead to some forgiveness down the line, sure. Now he's gotta deal with the fact that 2 of his sons want nothing to deal with him or his other son, because of the behavior that he allowed to transpire. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is another wedding post, posted to r/amItheasshole June 25th, 2020. Am I the asshole for not allowing my friend to bring her service animal, guide dog, to my wedding? I, 28 female, will be getting married in September. I have a blind friend who mostly relies on her guide dog. The dog, obviously, has access rights to all places. Now, I'm in a sticky situation, and I can sense that I will be the asshole. I have 3 chronic illnesses that I take 23 pills a day for, severe asthma, and, you guessed it, an extremely severe dog allergy. Usually, when I meet with my friend, we meet in the open, and I take 2 allergy pills. However, because of all the other medication I take, these pills make me extremely drowsy to the point where I'm officially not allowed to drive, and I usually crash as soon as I get home from our get-togethers. Our wedding will be very intimate, i.e., we will be in relatively small rooms. I feel horrible at this, but I don't think I can let my friend bring her dog. It just won't work. I talked about it with my fiance and some friends. Finally, I talked to my friend about it, explained the situation, and said I would love her to come, but she can't bring her dog. I said that 4 of our mutual friends had offered to be on a roster and assist her should she need it. Alternatively, if she is not comfortable with this, she could bring a person of her choosing to the wedding, or I'd pay for a professional aide for the day. I think it is important to note that her dog is not for any additional issues like seizures or anything like that. Unfortunately, she was less than happy with my suggestions. She accused me of being ableist and thinking her disability can be switched off for the day. I understand what I asked for was a lot, and it is a difficult topic. I told her to tell me if she changes her mind, and I'd be happy to make arrangements, but I won't budge. Verdict, no assholes here. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, downvoted. Not the asshole, although I will point out if the facility is that small that you'll be incapacitated even with your RX, then you shouldn't have invited her in the first place and just told her it was really just family only. OP responds, I don't think that would have worked as 4 of our mutual friends who are not my family are coming. Commenter 2, not the asshole. It's an ESA, not a medical animal. I love dogs more than humans, but in this case the dog can stay home, and your friend needs a reality check. OP responds, it's actually not an emotional support animal, but a service animal. Commenter 3, can I suggest an alternative? Can your friend have her service dog groomed right before the wedding, where they bathe and brush the dog with one of those Furminator-type shampoo, conditioner, brush outs? It really helps cut down on the shedding and would greatly help with allergies that you have. OP responds, it wouldn't be enough. Where is OP located at? South Australia. Why would OP invite the friend if the guide dog cannot attend? Because she sometimes goes out without it. Not very often, but when it's at the vet's. Because she sometimes goes without her dog and we've been friends for 12 years. Not inviting her seems wrong. She has only 10% vision. No seizures. Commenter 4. Have you thought about changing the setup of the wedding due to the pandemic? I'm not sure how comfortable I would be going to a wedding in small rooms in September. Will you and the guests be wearing masks? The mask might help filter out the allergens if you move the ceremony outside. That may give you more options as far as social distancing, as well as your friend and her service animal being there. OP responds, we haven't had any cases of COVID-19 in over 2 months, so everyone is pretty comfortable. Moving outside is not an option because of my hay fever. Commenter 5, not the asshole, but just wondering how you became friends with her if you have a dog allergy and she's blind with a guide dog. OP responds, she only got the dog a few years ago. Commenter 5, I see. But then can she survive a day without a dog like she did before? OP responds, she can and does, but it's not my place to judge that. Why is OP having a wedding during the pandemic? My state has been COVID-19 free for 2 months. Update, August 17th, 2020, almost 2 months later. Some of you may remember my post. Well, since I have gotten married. We decided to get married sooner than we planned because the situation was good where we live, and we didn't want to risk having to cancel if numbers spike. Before, I took your advice and called my friend. I explained how severe my allergies are once again, and told her how I really want to be able to enjoy my wedding day. I apologized for making suggestions and not simply asking her, and said she's welcome to bring up any ideas that would help her being able to attend. She told me she still wanted to, that do not include her dog. She was adamant that it was her dog or nothing. While disappointed, I was prepared for that, and told her that would not be possible and she will be missed at the wedding. We sent out the new invitations with the new date and simply didn't invite her, so technically, she wasn't uninvited. Some of our mutual friends that are in the wedding told me that she's asked them not to attend in solidarity, but luckily, they all thought that was ridiculous. We had a beautiful wedding and spent our honeymoon in the Flinders Ranges, which I can only recommend. As for my friend, I'm open to reconciliation, but she will have to make the first step. So, that's it. While it didn't go as I hoped it would, I'm still in a happy place now, enjoying my life as a married woman. Relevant/top comments. Commenter 1. Yes, you are the asshole. Your friend was wrong to try to sabotage your wedding, but you asked a person with a disability and a service dog to not bring the dog. You actually are in violation of the Americans with Disability Act. A service dog has the legal right to go anywhere the handler goes. I once called the police on a restaurant that was refusing to allow a service dog, citing health laws. Trying to explain the requirements for service dogs, they are still refused. The police intervened and the individual and I had a lovely dinner. Apologies are needed from both sides. OP responds, this wasn't in the US, and it wasn't a public place. Commenter 2. Just a question. How were you able to be friends with her outside of your wedding if she has a guide dog? Surely it accompanies her wherever she goes. Were you exclusively friends online or via phone? OP responds, we've been friends long before she got her dog. Commenter 3. Quoting OP, she'd asked them not to attend in solidarity. Well, if there was any doubt about your friend, this cleared things up. I'm happy you got to enjoy your wedding. Congratulations. I'm gonna be honest, I was walking into this one fully expecting to full-heartedly say that OP was the asshole, hoping this would be a best-of where OP was in the wrong for once. And, nope. Turns out OP actually was trying to be as reasonable as possible. Potentially, very much so misguided with some of their questions, and they realized that in the update post, but they were offering to pay for any accommodations possible so their friend could attend the wedding. They were actively trying to find as many solutions as they possibly could so that way they wouldn't be drowsy during their wedding day because of the allergy medications. It's also kind of a shame that OP's friend accused her of being ableist when OP herself has numerous chronic illnesses to the point where they have to take 23 pills a day. I think I would consider OP to only be the asshole if they just simply said, hey, I've seen you without your guide dog before, so could you just not have your guide dog at the wedding? Thanks. But instead they offered as many accommodations as they could think of and even asked them if there were any accommodations they could request that would allow them to be able to attend the wedding without their guide dog. I think that is reasonable, and it's unfortunate that the friend's response was either dog or nothing. And it turns out the or nothing meant no friends either, as they tried to then go behind OP's back and make them not attend the wedding of solidarity. Like, that sucks. A lot. And I hate that I'm in the position of calling someone who's blind an asshole. It is not fun. Because the thing is, the friend could have just been like, hey, sorry, I'm just not comfortable attending the wedding without my guide dog. Good luck, congratulations, and we'll catch up later. But instead they try to sabotage it actively behind the scenes, and that's gross. OP tried to do everything they could to accommodate their friend, even being open to paying for suggestions their friend would give. But hey, maybe I'm missing something and y'all can enlighten me on what that is. Or hey, maybe you have more to add that I entirely missed that makes this situation even worse than what I'm seeing. But let me know in the comments. I always enjoy seeing what you all have to say. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code OZ at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.